Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about a foundation from Guerlain. This is the L'Essentiel Foundation. I have it in the shade 2N, and this is something that I purchased while I was in Toronto, Canada. So this is a collab with Alicia over at Kinkysweat. We actually were able to meet while we were in Toronto. We were both there helping out Refer with their Kickstarter video, and we had some downtime, so of course we went makeup shopping. So we went to the Sephora there, and I was surprised to see this foundation there. I know this has been released over in Europe, definitely the UK. Some of my favorite beauty YouTubers have reviewed this foundation, like Charlotte Holdcroft. So I know it's been released there. I think it's been released in Asia. I'm not sure. And this recently popped up on the Sephora site, but it said coming soon in September. So maybe that's when this is going to be releasing in the US. Not exactly sure, but I got really excited when I saw it in Sephora, and Alicia was intrigued because I kind of like hot-footed it over to the display when I saw it, and I was telling her that this was one that I wanted to try, and then we kind of talked about how we kind of avoid brands like this, like their foundations, because they usually use alcohol. There's like a very strong fragrance or whatever. So we kind of talked about that a little bit, and then we decided to pick up the tester. And Alicia, I think, was reading either the tester or just kind of the information on this foundation, like on the gondola in Sephora. And we noticed that there was no alcohol listed in the ingredients. And I was doing like a sniff test with the testers, and I really couldn't detect anything really strong in terms of fragrance. And I have to admit, I was really surprised. Guerlain is a perfume house, so I was really expecting something. I was just hoping that I was gonna like it, but it is very, very faint. It's very, very soft. And so what Alicia and I are gonna be doing today is like a full day wear test. I'm gonna do it the way I normally do. I'm not sure how she's gonna structure her video. She's gonna do it the way she normally does, but I'm gonna apply it with you on camera. I'm gonna give you a midday check-in, and then I will give you a final check-in and final review at the end of the day. I'm gonna try and wear this foundation as long as possible. This claims to have a 16-hour wear. There is no way I'm going to be able to make it 16 hours. I'm barely awake for 16 hours. So it is already 9:45 in the morning. So we'll say 10 o'clock. So I will try and keep this on for 10 hours. I'll try and do my last check-in at around 8 o'clock. That's when I kind of start to climb into bed. So that's going to be really late for me, but I will try and make it a 10-hour wear day. So I have dry, sensitive skin. Alicia has combo skin. She was actually telling me that her skin is kind of changing a little bit. She always thought that she had oily skin. She recently went to either an esthetician or dermatologist, and they said, well, no, actually you have dry skin. But she feels like now it's kind of normal combo at this point. So I have very dry, sensitive skin, and she has definitely oilier leaning skin. It's more like normal combo. So we thought this collab would be a good idea so that you could see this foundation on different skin types and also different skin tones. Alicia has a little bit of a deeper skin tone than I do. I'm pretty fair. So again, I have it in the shade 2N, Clair Light, and let's go ahead and get started. So I will, of course, leave a link down to Alicia's channel and her video in my description box. Definitely check it out. She's such a sweetheart. She is by far one of my favorite YouTubers here. She's eloquent, she's descriptive, her videos are always so detailed, and I'm always amazed at how quickly she can put up like a palette review with like 3 looks. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine how sore my eyelids would be if I did like 3 looks, like 3 total looks. Like she goes all the way with the mascara, the eyeliner, everything. She is impressive. And if you guys have not checked out her Instagram, please do so. So her YouTube channel name is Kinkysweat. Her Instagram handle is Kinkysweat, and she is a fitness professional, and she is a contortionist. So I will leave it at that. Her Instagram is out of control. I will just sit there looking at one of her videos, and you know how it starts to replay? I just let it replay. I probably sit there and watch her videos on replay like 5 times. They are mesmerizing. What she can do with her body is unbelievable. She is, in fact, literally the complete opposite of me because I'm built like a tree trunk. I can't even come close to touching my toes. So anyway, she is amazing and just such a sweet, nice, warm person. It was so wonderful meeting her in person in Toronto. It was such a great experience, even though it was like so short, but I'm hoping the next time I'm in New York, we can meet up, or maybe I can take one of her classes, because I was like, I need help, girl. Like I am so stiff all the time. She was like, come to one of my classes. Like, I'm terrified. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this foundation. So it comes in a box like this, and you guys have probably seen this foundation a lot, but this is the one that is angled. It's really cool. This pulls off and there is a pump. And I wanted to mention, when I, took this bottle out for the first time, there was a white sticker over where it says SPF 20. So I know like the labeling of SPF is different depending on countries. I'm wondering if that's what's kind of holding up the release in the US. But this was covered, this SPF 20 was covered, and I purchased it in Canada. So I just wanted to let you know that. And when I take a look at the ingredients, the last two ingredients are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So I do think that there is some SPF in here. I'm not exactly sure the amount though, since this was technically covered. But I do want to read the description of this foundation off of the Guerlain site, because this is a very different foundation for them. So, well, let me not read this whole thing. It's pretty long, but there's 30 shades. Let me just start there. And this is actually made up of 97% naturally derived ingredients. So this is relatively new for them. Natural glow finish, 16-hour wear, and it is a light to medium coverage. It says the formula lets the skin breathe. It hydrates, balances, and protects the skin from pollution. The complexion is more even. The appearance of imperfections is reduced. So I have already worn this foundation a couple of times, and I have to tell you, I am very, very impressed. I did not do a 16-hour wear test, but I probably wore it. One day I probably wore it for around 6 to 7 hours, and then the next time I probably wore around the same time, maybe 7 to 8 hours that day. I did not notice anything super funky. It felt great on the skin. But anyway, let's go ahead and experience all of this together. So I am going to go ahead and pump out a couple of pumps on the back of my hand. So there is the texture. Very creamy. You can see it's running down my hand very, very slowly. And I've been enjoying applying it with a beauty sponge, and I also have a new sponge here, so I wanted to use it. This is a Sonia Kashuk sponge from Target that I love, especially for foundation because it's so big. So this shade 2N is very good for my skin tone. If you are close to mine, I would recommend this one, or of course you can always use my skin tone as a reference. So while I remember, I put this foundation on in my Guerlain video where I was talking about a lot of new Meteorites products, and I couldn't figure out like how to describe this fragrance. So I'm going to read to you the description off of the Guerlain site. It is a musky, woody fragrance. Maybe I smell that a little bit. That opens with a white almond top note. That I definitely smell. The delicate middle note of white tea reveals a soft and creamy sandalwood base note. Its charm is sublimed by white musk and tonka bead notes. So that is probably why I couldn't place this fragrance, because it's very, very different. But I have to tell you, it's very, very light, and it's so pleasant. It's really, really pleasant. And I have to say, I'm not really always the biggest fan of like sandalwood. I don't know. The whole mixture is great. I mean, you can definitely tell that Guerlain is a fragrance perfume house after reading that description and smelling this, because it is, for foundation, it is incredibly complex. It really is very, very layered. It's wonderful. I love it. All right, so that is 2 pumps of the foundation all over my face. I love the coverage. I love that it's like a light medium coverage. I love the slight radiance and glow that it gives my skin. I really enjoy this finish, and the fragrance, like I just mentioned, is really, really lovely. It's very complex for a foundation, and it looks so natural and beautiful on my skin. I mean, I just feel like this foundation goes on so seamlessly, so quickly. It blends out like a dream, and I am absolutely loving it. All right, so I'm gonna apply the rest of my makeup, go about my day, and I will be back later on to give you my first check-in. So I will see you then. Hey guys, it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so I thought I would do a check-in. And like I said in my intro, this is not the first time I'm wearing this foundation, so I'm not really surprised, but I think it looks fantastic still. It's been about, what is that? That's about 4.5 hours now. And I mean, no surprise, 4.5 hours is not that long, but it really looks so beautiful on the skin. Usually when I do foundation tests, I try not to put too much other makeup on so that we can see, but I wanted to film another video, so I apologize. In this particular foundation test, I do have other makeup on, including highlight, etc. So I will point out where I really only have foundation on. That is basically along my jawline here, my upper lip area. I have a little bit of highlight on my chin, but basically around my mouth area, and then around the perimeter of my forehead. I have some highlight in the center, but nothing around the perimeter. Everywhere else I have like some cream contour, cream blush, cream highlight, and then I have a very, very light dusting of powder. I use the Charlotte Tilbury powder, which is probably one of my lightest powders, and I used very little because I use so many cream products. I wanted that to come through. Anyway, I did want to say though, I don't see any deterioration of the foundation at all. I don't see it breaking up, caking up, fading, or anything anywhere at the moment. Let's do some close-ups. So usually when I do see breaking up a foundation, it'll be around the hairline of my forehead. And then the tip of my nose and the base of my nose area, that is the oiliest. So when I do see deterioration, it's around there as well. I really don't see much. I see a little bit of fading here, a little bit of pink is poking through at the base of my nose, but I don't think it's extreme. And then the texture around my mouth, where generally foundation kind of cakes up a little bit, I think it looks smooth and flawless, and just like when I applied it this morning. I just love, love, love the finish of this foundation. I feel like it just looks so healthy on my skin. I love how natural it looks with just a hint of radiance, and the coverage is just beautiful. And I love that it's maintained that so far. So again, we're only at the 4.5 hour mark. I will try and keep this on as long as possible. I am aiming for 8 p.m. tonight so we can get a full 10-hour wear test. So I will see you guys then. Hey guys, it is 8 o'clock in the evening and I made it. I am in my pajamas though, so I apologize for the casual t-shirt here, but just wanted to give you my final thoughts on this foundation. So I definitely look a little bit glowier than I did earlier in the day. My oils are definitely starting to break through a bit, but I don't feel like the foundation has faded at all. I feel like the coverage is still there. I don't see any disintegration or breakdown of it. I think I pointed out in my first check-in that like around my nose, it looks a little bit fainter. It looks the same since then. So let's do a close up. Let's pan from my forehead down to my chin so you guys can take a close look. But it looks great on my forehead. Nothing weird around the hairline, nothing weird around like my weird leftover eczema scarring basically. It still looks great underneath my eyes. I do have a bit of concealer and I did put down some light powder. I used the Charlotte Tilbury light powder today. And nothing, I still feel like I have coverage around my nose, which is very odd. Usually, especially after 10 hours, I'll definitely see a little bit of fading around my nose. That's the oiliest part of my face. That's really no surprise. I usually just look for how it's fading. If it's just fading evenly, that's always fine to me, as long as it's not like breaking up strangely or looking cakey or doing anything odd. But it's not even fading with this foundation. And then around the chin, mouth area, it looks great. It looks great. So I am really, really impressed with this foundation. I even like the fragrance that's in this foundation. The bottle is cute. I love that it's in a pump. I love that there's SPF 20. It's like they really did all the right things with this foundation. And the fact that there's 97% natural ingredients in here, I think that is really a wonderful, wonderful step in the right direction for a company like Guerlain. So if you have dry skin, I definitely recommend this. I am very, very curious to see Alicia's video. Again, she has more like normal combo skin. So I'm really curious to hear her thoughts on how it wore for her. But for dry skin, I think it wore beautifully. And thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Alicia's video and her channel. I'll have those links down below in the description box. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video.